Hey, so we're catching up with Sarah just a week after, I think it was this time last Monday, that we cleared a couple of sensations that were coming up. So, Sarah, how's your week been? What's been different since we did that work?
Right afterwards, that day, I was hyped and energized. My brain was pumping with ideas. I felt really good. And something that I noticed, like there's a little coffee shop down the way that I go to. And on the way there, I passed like gardens and trees and all sorts and never really noticed it. But then I noticed the little snapdragons, and they reminded me of when I was a kid, we used to pick them and press them so their little mouths opened. I don't know if anybody does that, but it's something I remember doing as a kid. And I hadn't noticed this little garden with the snapdragons ever before. And I remember noticing it and remembering you saying about noticing them. And it was like, there they are.
It's so
So
cool.
I loved that. But the thing that like really got me was I was at an award event and talking to a person, and during the event they corrected my pronunciation of a word, and it was an English word, and basically they were just being rude, and I put them in their place politely and moved on from it. But normally that would have been something that I would have shut down. I would have felt terrible, my voice is terrible, I'm no good, get into that sort of not good enough sort of role and just start telling myself that stuff. But that didn't even come up.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so good. Like just felt good. And I didn't feel like even just telling him, hey, that's not okay to do that, didn't feel like normally, even if I'll stick up for myself in situations, but my heart will be racing and it'll be an anxiety inducing, like, oh, here we go. But I didn't at all have that. So it was just, this is just like we're speaking now, just no, sorry, that's not okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And, I think we would have talked about how, when we do have these sensations come up, how our mind reverts back to the child where it started. Yeah. And so in the past, if someone did criticize you, it was probably that part of you that wasn't processed that would have come out and felt shame and I'm not good enough and all of those kind of things. But now that personality is processed, back to you now, the you now is like, nah, you're not talking like that.
Ron asked me is not going to put up with that.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm just really wrapped with that. And I just think, just going forward, how good that's going to be.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to be looking for pulling people up on things, but definitely will not have that angst with sticking up for myself in a situation.
Yeah. Isn't it funny too, when you do this kind of work, you do it for one thing, because I'm not too sure, were we doing it for a busy mind, possibly? Is that how we started?
Yeah.
Can't remember what we were talking about when we first started last time, but how we start with one thing, but the results you get or the changes you get flow over to so many different areas of your life, and you don't know it until something happens and you go, hey, I actually dealt with it in a very different way to what I normally would. Yeah. And that's when you notice the change.
Yeah, well, because I hadn't even really thought about anything except the little snapdragons, and it wasn't until just earlier that I thought, oh my gosh, that actually happened in that moment where I stuck up for myself and I wasn't all heart racing, anxious to explain to this person that what they were doing was inappropriate and rude. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks for catching up again.
That's all good.
And letting us know how you've been. Cool.
Thank you.